Harrison Burton once again received bad news this season as his dream is over after not progressing to the round of 12 in the NASCAR playoffs. He was declared eliminated on Stage 2. Burton lost power steering and drove his car behind the wall for repairs. It is too much for him to handle. What a way to end his season. Harrison Burton snatched a spot in the NASCAR playoffs with a big win at Daytona a few weeks ago. However, the Cinderella story of Burton and Wood Brothers Racing comes to an end. Having to race at Bristol without power steering is one of the most difficult things you can do. In the earlier autos, it was a Herculean feat. In the next generation, it would require a strong driver to complete 250+ laps. These new automobiles are substantially heavier and more difficult to drive without power steering. For Harrison Burton, it was not meant to be. He entered the cutoff race with only 20 points on the line. Unlike last week at Watkins Glen, the bulk of the playoff drivers are enjoying a good day. While Burton is unlikely to progress, several other underdogs are likely to accomplish so given the current situation. Chase Briscoe has performed admirably throughout the race. Martin Truex Jr. and Austin Cindric have both had solid efforts. So drivers are not only gone, but they are also advanced. Through 2 stages of the Bristol night race, Christopher Bell and Alex Bowman have qualified for the round of 12. They don't have to be concerned about anything that happens after this. Ty Gibbs is in significant risk of being eliminated. This is his first season in the postseason. There's no shame in being removed. However, there is some disappointment because Gibbs performed so well here earlier this season. Overall, Gibbs performed better in the first half of the year. However, it was not enough. Kyle Larson dominated the race. To steal the win from him tonight, another team would have needed to put on a remarkable effort and make significant adjustments. Larson swept the stages, something he has a penchant for. Harrison Burton was eliminated early, but halfway through the race, there were just single digits between 10th and 13th, with 14th place only 15 points away from the cutoff. As the race progressed, it was inevitable that it would get increasingly fierce. And as Kyle Larson won the Bristol night race after leading more than 400 laps. 2 previous NASCAR champions have been eliminated from the playoffs. This wasn't the crazy Bristol race we've grown to expect, but it was important for removing 4 playoff drivers, as it always is. This was possibly Kyle Larson's most dominant race, but the clashes within the playoff field were what made it so exciting. For 4 drivers, this marked the end of the journey. Martin Truex Jr., Brad Keselowski, Ty Gibbs, and Harrison Burton have all been eliminated from the NASCAR playoffs. Kyle Larson led all but 38 laps tonight. 462 laps led is the most by any Hendrick driver in history. This means Larson led more laps tonight than Jeff Gordon or Jimmy Johnson have ever done in a single race. It was amazing to see Denny Hamlin tonight. He did not run afraid, like he did in Atlanta. He qualified well, unlike Watkins Glen. Then he ran a clean race, stayed out of danger, and finished in the top 5. He accomplished what he needed to do to advance, and he will now compete in round 12. Tonight's surprise was most likely Ty Gibbs. He had to put together a great race while hoping Chase Briscoe would return to Earth this week. That did not happen. Briscoe collected a lot of stage points and finished 8th. Gibbs collapsed late in the race, finishing P15. Daniel Suarez finished 31st and advanced thanks to his first 2 races in this round. However, he cut it close. You must give credit to Austin Cindric, Chase Briscoe, and Daniel Suarez. They were 3 drivers who qualified for the NASCAR playoffs by winning a race this year rather than accumulating points. They were all outside of the top 16 in regular season points. Despite this, all of the drivers proceeded to the round of 12. Championship drivers Martin Truex Jr. and Brad Keselowski did not. Ty Gibbs, seen as a potential champion in the Cup Series one day, did not advance, and we all know what happened to Harrison Burton. Truex's journey came to an end far too soon. This was his final full-time season. Following this, he will ride off into the sunset, returning only for the occasional race, like the 2025 Daytona 500. The NASCAR playoffs are harsh. 1 or 2 disastrous races will dash your title ambitions. That's all it takes. For 4 drivers tonight in Bristol, it was the final nail in the coffin. This is the end of the line. Now we load up the remaining 12 drivers, reset the points, and repeat the process at Kansas, Talladega, and Roval. But the removal of Truex Jr. from playoffs was a surprise, as his entire season was reduced to a single pit road speeding penalty. Martin Truex Jr. was only carrying out his responsibilities. He gained stage points and appeared to be one of the top 5 cars on the night. But a pit road speeding penalty sent him to the bottom of the pack on the lead lap. He never made it back across the field. It was another short track race with little or no passing. Even a fast car with a superb driver, like as the 19 with Truex, couldn't get past the field despite its greater speed. Truex was disappointed after the race that his final season of racing had ended in this manner. It's really tough, you know. 0.09 miles per hour that kind of screws your whole chance at a good season up, Martin Truex Jr. remarked on the post-race show. So yeah, I don't know how that happened. I didn't know I was even that close. Honestly, I felt like I did the same thing as every other stop. But sometimes you're just maybe a foot to the left, or it's so tricky when you're going from that curved section to the straight to get your lights. And it's on me. Obviously, it's my mistake. Yeah, I mean, they said we were gonna have to run second or third there to have a chance, and I don't know if we could have done it, but it would have been nice to see. And just really sad for my guys, they worked so hard. We had a really strong car tonight, and we did, we got a lot of stage points, we did what we needed there. Just hate I screwed it up. I wish we could have at least seen if we could have done it. Would have been fun to have a fighting chance. From here, we'll just go on and try to race hard and hopefully go back to victory lane before it's all said and done. Martin Truex Jr. dominated this one tonight, just like a true professional. He got a little emotional in his final comment of the night. You never like to let anybody down, no matter what the situation. So, I hate that I did that tonight. Martin Truex Jr. has represented the very best of NASCAR during his career. At one point, it appeared that he might not have a future. 2 Xfinity Series championships, 1 Cup Series championship, and 2 Cup regular season crowns. There will be no round of 12 this season, but he will wear the Hall of Fame jacket in a few years. And as Truex Jr. is leaving the playoffs, others are through, and for Daniel Suarez, it was a little miracle. Daniel Suarez began 35th at Bristol and made little progress as he fought an ill-handling number 99 Chevrolet. It was a struggle, Suarez explained. Since yesterday when we unloaded the car for first practice, we just didn't have the speed. As you know, with a short amount of practice, qualifying and going to the race, if you don't have speed out of the trailer, it's very, very difficult to bring it back to speed. We made it better, but it wasn't good enough. We were running 30th, 28th, 32nd all night long, and that's what we had. How could he progress with such a poor performance? Well, he relied largely on the 36-point lead he built up before Bristol, which he got with a second-place result at Atlanta and a solid performance at Watkins Glen. More than that, the misfortune that struck Martin Truex Jr. once more, making things a little easier for him in the final laps as he held off Ty Gibbs. I can only control so much, Suarez added. I can only control what the 99 car can do, and everything else is out of my hands. At one point there, I felt bad for the 54 Gibbs, because I had to hold him back quite a bit and he got past, but I had to do that. I wasn't fast enough to run away from him, so I had to play games to be able to affect him as much as possible in a clean way. That plan paid off for some and didn't for others. That's just how the playoffs go. Are you happy with the remaining 12 drivers? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below.